And happy Sunday. Welcome to Today at the Races. We are going to come outside a little bit later, but Dave and we're sticking inside for now. A little bit windy out there. Let's take a look at the track and how everything looks there. The track is fast and the turf is back to firm, Dave.
Yeah, it's kind of a crisp fall day. A little preview maybe of some Maryland Million weather. Temperature's going to be pretty steady throughout the week, 50s, 60s. And maybe just a slight chance of rain later in the week. A little windy, though. Winds about 15 miles per hour and a little gusty, but otherwise a really nice fall day. It's the Laurel Park Fall Meet, and Maryland Million's on the way. Why not? 1 week away.
Speaking of Maryland Million, the draw is today in between races 1 and 2. Dave, you are going to be there in between the action of races 1 and 2. Yeah. Just a post time that's been pushed back for the second race to 1:15.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. The second race will be pushed a little bit as we do the post position draw for the Maryland Million Classic. All the other races drawn today as well. I think the deadline is 12 noon for entries. It looks like 12 races, I was told, for Maryland Million Day. It's going to be a big day at 10 a.m. gates open, 11:30 a.m. post time.
Yep.
The Jim McKay Maryland Million Day 2023.
And it's going to be an exciting one, and we can't wait for it. The countdown is officially on here at Sunday races here at Laurel Park. Let's kick things off on this 10 race card day to get things on that official countdown, starting in this early pick 5 in this maiden special weight. 5.5 on the turf for the 3, 4, and 5-year-old Scratch. In the 6, Suburban Scratch. In the 12, Park Place. You have the number 4 on top. This is Exercise of Power, J.J. Toner's first-time starter with Georgie Ruiz on top.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at Sig in the race, looked at Spirit Sky from Jamie Ness, looked at Rockingham Joe. They all kind of look like the same horse to me. I took a shot with a firster newcomer here for Empire Maker out of First to Spring. The Dam was a two-time winner in France, actually won first 2 out sprinting on the grass in France, eventually came to the U.S. under Chad Brown's barn and ran a 91 buyer figure there, minor stakes place as well for the Dam. So the turf breeding is there. This horse has works going on the way back to Palm Meadows as a 2-year-old. Had a bit of a setback, was off the work tab from February to May, but has some good works coming in from the Jimmy Toner barn. I think they're excited to get this guy to the races. They maybe wanted him to get to the track a little bit sooner, but they took their time, and that's always a good thing. Exercise of Power 5.5. I have a feeling he probably wants to go a little longer.
Yep.
So I don't know how much speed he's going to have here, but I think he's well meant first out today.
There we go, and maybe meant for longer races might help him out with that second wire. In your exacta is the number 7, who I have also underneath as well. And Spirit Sky for Jamie Ness. Jamie Rodriguez gets the call on this one.
Oh, this horse is fit. He's fit for the grass.
Yes.
Sprinting at Parks, then they ran him on the grass at Parks, a mile and the 16th. That's a tough thing to do. He battled the whole way and only beaten by a neck third and a 3-way kind of photo there. And he came back as a favorite on the dirt and failed, was down inside on a day and was kind of outside flow at Park. So I got to draw a line through that race. I think he's going to have a little bit of stamina and fitness. He's going to be reliable in here. 7 Spirit Sky as a trier, 11 him Rockingham Joe in the mix as well. Should have some early lick. There's some speed, but route speed kind of on the inside, getting the cheek pieces on from number 2 Sig as well. So I'm hoping for a solid break from the 4. He may not have as much speed as some of the other runners in here, but I think he should be ready first time out. Exercise of Power. You got the 5 on top here. 1 and Award in the Jorge Duarte barn, right? Blinkers off, change of equipment.
The change of equipment really is going to open things up, I think, for this individual who's kind of just been kicking on a little bit, kind of been within himself. I think the world is going to open up a little bit for him with the blinkers off for Jorge Duarte Jr. as Dave Rodman goes 4-7, 11-2 in that opener. Let's talk about the second race that does kick off the early pick 4 as well. And Dave, instead of Keith, we have a ticket from you. How do you play it?
Here's the ticket. 2 horses in the first leg. Spreading a little bit in the third, a couple of runners in the 4th, 4 and 7, and in the 5th race, a little bit more wide open. I know Fast Line, he's going to have some early speed, but maybe if we can get a little bit of a price home in there, can get that ticket to expand a bit on the payoff. So 3-5 with 2, 9, 10, 4, 7, 9, 10, 12 in the first leg, opening it up with Assume Nothing. Brittany Russell, runner who's 4-5, and here's another change of equipment today. We have a lot of changes today with the equipment, and this is one of them. Blinkers off. The horse did break his maiden with blinkers, but the barn believes maybe he'll do a little bit better without him. He's been rested since his last race at Delaware, August 5th. I think we have the video of that race when he was behind Eldest Son that day. Eldest Son was a 3-time winner going in, and here he comes dropping back into a non-winner as a 2, going 7 furlongs. So I think a much easier field for Assume Nothing.
I agree. I have to agree with that. And that race does begin here in this claiming 40,000, which have never won 2, going 7 furlongs on the dirt scratch. And the number 4, one of the good guys. And you also have the number 5 underneath, an Occasional Moon. Jonathan Maldonado gets J.D. Acosta today.
Yeah, 7/8 of a mile. Look at that race behind Freitland. He figures here. He's got a good figure from that race at Colonial. And number 7 is first off the claim for Rob Atras. The last time he was in Maryland with the first off the claim horse, galloped at Pimlico. I forgot the name of the horse. It was like the last week of the meet there.
It was.
Anyway, a claim for 30. I've seen this horse run in New York. Matter of fact, I played against him that day, and I can tell you he's kind of like a big, gangly kind of horse. You know, he's like just a long barrel to him. His 7/8 of a mile should be perfect for him. I don't think he's going to be on the lead in this spot.
Sure.
But with Barbosa, I think a horse like that like get his stride together outside. He's dangerous. I tell you, if there's another horse I'd use in that pick 4, it would be the 7 Mudville 9.
And you also wrap it up with 2 as you go 3, 5, 7, 2. The
no
2
video.
is
We have
set,
no video.
We do have taking a look at these. We do have a video on the 3. Let's circle back to Assume Nothing for Brittany Russell. Javian Toledo gets the blinkers off today.
All right, there we go. I just wanted to show this race again, as we mentioned. Was second beating the neck at Delaware behind Eldest Son, who is a 3-time winner going into the race. Allowance there, then dropping in non-winners of 2 today. There is the Ripoli color. Silk's kind of hanging a bit on the left lead upper stretch. He's trying today, taking the blinkers off. Well, you know, maybe he just didn't see the other horse, right? He was pretty far apart from him.
He was. It was a wide berth. And
beaten only half a head ahead there. A neck, actually, was the margin. All right.
Yes, absolutely. As Dave Rodman goes 3, 5, 7, 2 in race at number 2. Race at number 3 is a maiden claiming 20,000 a mile on the turf for the girls. 3, 4, and 5 scratch in the 8 Gambit, the 12 Temptress Calling, and the 13 Augie's Girl. You have the number 10 Rosie's Tomorrow's here for Mike Maker. Jeremiah Castro comes in for the call.
Amateur Riders Club of America racing. I just couldn't get past Rosie's Tomorrow in the spot, dropping from maiden 40 down to 20. The Kitten's Joy filly, beaten only a couple of lengths last time out. Brushed the gate at the start last time out at Saratoga. Rode the rail to the 5/16 pole and then swung out to the 7 or 8 path into the stretch. And was only beaten a couple of lengths in there. It was certainly trying in the race, and a little bit of drop against this field I think is going to do the trick today from the outside. Rosie's Tomorrow. Number 2 we also agree on in their stage call. Talk about trouble trip filly. Wow. A couple of races, actually last race at Pimlico, had a lot of trouble at the start, yet overcame all of that, almost won the race, arguably could have been the best filly Burger maiden that day in the race, beaten 2 lengths behind another nice price horse, Gilda's Girl, and at Laurel 2 races back, a step slow from the gate, and good willing effort there. And then an amateur riders race 3 back here from maiden 16, also encountered a lot of trouble in that race, squeezed at the start. So she's a trouble-prone filly, but maybe with a good trip today under Aaron Swope.
She's solid for these amateur races here today. You also go with the number 9 in Fortune Teller, Carrie Bryan. Tatiana Shushko gets the call. This is a longtime exercise rider for Carrie.
Yeah, you like that horse on top, right?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, I see her. She's going to have to improve, I think, to beat Rosie's Tomorrow. But it's second time Lasix, right? First time over this turf with Lasix. So I think she'll be a little bit more fit after the time away from Presque Isle. And, I'm not going to rule her out in the spot, but I think she's got to kind of step up her game here.
I go with the angle that I think while she did go up in numbers on the turf, I think just physically sometimes if they're coming off of those synthetic runs, they can bounce a little bit, and I think that had something to do with it a little bit. Of course, that time off, and then Carrie, I think it doesn't look like this one is asking for more, but I think now at this time in this stage of of its conditioning, more distance may be a little bit of a help here for this one.
Yeah, when you look at other than Rosie's Tomorrow and my numbers, I think they kind of all went of the same horse, stage call, the 9. They all kind of look alike to me here. So it's going to be a question of trips 10, 2, 9, and 4. Just as a bomb underneath in your triples, coming off a sprint, right?
Yep.
After a long time away from the races, stretching out to the distance of ground. The horse didn't get a bad number, I thought, in my figs of Delaware Park in that 5 furlong turf sprint. I don't know what he's going to do today. He might find himself near the lead in this spot or closer to the pace. He's going to be a bomb of a price in here. She will, Praline Pecan.
Here we go. Some prices there underneath for Dave Rodman as he goes 10-2, 9-4 there in race number 3. Race number 4 is an allowance optional claiming 62. 5 also is on 5.5 on the dirt for the straight 2-year-olds. Let's go ahead and take a look right now at Bucciarino, Alfredo Vasquez, Angel Cruz. You have a nice little stat, don't you?
Yeah, Alfredo Velasquez, he ships down, he means business. Here at Laurel Park, 5 for 21 the last 5 years. Here in Maryland, 6 for 22 between Laurel, Pimlico. The track's a nice positive ROI, $2.28. This colt, if he breaks today, he was off a bit slow against a tough field last time out. A horse named Bookham Dano, who'll be running up in New York today. I kind of like up there. I believe he's running on the turf. Was a big favorite in the race and drew off, but with a good break, I think he's the speed of the speed, Bucciarino.
I agree. I think he is in Bucciarino. So, and especially with Angel Cruz on it, it matches up very well. So I think speed of the speed right there. A nice just freshener work on October 3rd just to keep things quick in the lungs there for Bucciarino. You also have the number 7, Uncle Cat. Let's go ahead and take a look at that first time out for Uncle Cat, which resulted in a win.
Yeah, this horse chased the rail speed, but then things got a little bit adventurous. That's why we picked it up round the far turn. There's Uncle Cat in the Euro stable colors there, in the red cap and the red sleeves. Everything's going great, right? You're chasing the speed, you're grinding away, you made the lead at the top of the stretch, and then at the quarter pole, little left-handed stick 2-3 times, drifts way out to the center of the track, and somehow, believe it or not, comes back to the inside. And here, going back, so left leadish and
Inside,
over, back to the right inside.
There
So,
we go.
yeah, this colt's got a little bit to learn, that's for sure. But believe it or not, he won the race, right? He had every right to lose that race.
There is some raw talent there, to be sure, and just taking a look at that. But, of course, Uncle Cat, you have Claudio Gonzalez. Blinkers on for Claudio Gonzalez.
And first gelding.
So a lot of angles there for the Claudio Gonzalez trainee here, bumping it up in class today. You also go with the number 3 underneath, Chat Blanc, Tim Keith, Charlie Marquez. Comes off, tries to get things together on a fast dirt track today.
Unknown on the dirt, right?
Yes.
Breaks the maiden on the turf at 8-1. Good-looking win on the turf, going 5.5 from off the pace in here. So there's going to be some speed for him to run it. Then last time out, things didn't go well. Sloppy track, stumbled at the start early, and it was pretty much over. So back on the fast track and on the dirt again today. Maybe you got to give him a little bit of a shot. Frosty the Giant in here. He was third, I know, in the Timonium Juvenile. It's the second time gelding for Farrier. Had pace from the rail, but this horse was ridden all the way from the 3-ace pole all the way down to the line. Sweet Sadi J had a sweet trip coming up the inside to win that day. I still think that race on May the 11th at Churchill Downs a little bit inflated. There really has been nothing out of the race to come back and do much at all.
Correct. So there's just plenty to prove there. But there's, again, a lot going on in that race. 4-7-3-1. David Rodman goes in race number 4. Race number 5 kicks off the Rainbow Pick 6. Just taking a quick look at my ticket. That does kick things off. Of course, race number 5, 4 deep here in this starter optional claiming. Race number 6, I go 2 deep with the 1 and the 4. And we're going to skip down a little bit to race number 9 is where I come in on my single in the number 8 Candle. Shug McGahee, Forest Boys, going short on the turf, but I think this one will appreciate this reach back to this allowance level coming over from Kentucky, being over from Belmont up in New York. We'll appreciate that there. A $19.20 ticket for that Rainbow Pick 6, which does begin here in this starter optional 12-5. 5.5 on the turf. For the girls 3 and up, scratch the 1 Dotada, the 7 Tweet Away Robin, and the 16 Flip My id, and also the AEs within there. But you have the number 10 on top. This is in the number 10, our strong Vals, Robbie Bales, Dennis Arujo, a nice price of a morning line of 10-1.
Yeah, looking for a closing effort here. This horse likes the turf course here at Laurel Park. 2 for 4. Comes back to Robbie Bales' barn. Pulled a couple of upsets, 6-1 and 51-1 over this course last year in October and November, rallying from off the pace. I mean, this horse fits in here if there's a good pace, and believe it or not, we've got a good pace with Fast Lonnie.
We do.
Dropping down, she knows one speed, and that's go from the get-go. And so it's from that rail spot, she's going to go under Sheldon Russell. So I think the pace will be honest enough for someone to come from off the pace in the spot. So I decided to go with a little bit of a price in here. Horse who likes the course, coming back into the Bales barn, and Arujo, very familiar with this horse, won back in November at 50-1 over this course, beating In Vain and Circle the Field and Deep Out. And I think maybe that's what we're looking for today. Hopes and prayers.
Absolutely, absolutely. You also go with Pumpy Monkey Baby for Kieran McGee. Toledo, maybe just sitting right off of Fast Lonnie.
Well, give me a barn hotter than Kieran McGee right now, right?
Correct.
I mean, other than maybe you McMahon too, right? And
Right.
he's hot. But Kieran McGee, a lot of like brilliant turf or dirt winners recently. This is a turf horse, sixth in a little stake off the claim at Colonial. Then tried to get on the turf last time out. They ran her anyway, just kind of ran around the track. More effective on the grass this afternoon. If she runs back to some of her races last year, midsummer, that would be good enough to win here. Should maybe our strong vows not show up. So I'm using that one, yeah, for sure, in the last leg of the pick four, the fifth of the day. Outside, we have Translate, who seems to finish second, third more times in hitting the winner's circle, but she was a length behind our strong vows. Puppy Monkey Baby beat her, but only by a length and change. Maybe gets the triple life today. I don't know. I'm just going to throw her in there. She's a little bit of a price.
Why not?
In that last leg of the pick four as well. 10, 9, 12, 2.
In race number 5 for Dave Rodman, and we will be back after this commercial break for the rest of the races here on Sunday's card.
And they're off.
And we're back in race number 6 that kicks off not only the late pick 5, but the jackpot super high 5, and it is in this maiden claiming 20,000, 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the straight 2-year-old fillies. One scratch in here, Family Gal, the 2. You and I both have Tina for Brittany Russell and Jamie and Toledo, both having 3 wins yesterday.
Yeah. Favorite. Last 3 times out, failed to do it. Dropping in to 20,000 today from Maiden 40. First race looks good at Pimlico, but that was 4.5. So, I kind of take that with a grain of salt. She's dropping in. Is this the PJ's rider of Sunday afternoon?
It might
right?
be.
A horse maybe people were trying to beat, just couldn't do it.
Yep.
And gets there. So I'm going to pick her on top here because I don't really have what I was looking for in number 4, Awesome Glow, or number 8, G's Fireball. I thought they both ran a little bit green. I was hoping for an equipment change on either one of them, but they both have form, I think, in here, both to upset. Awesome Glow, Matoli filly. Wow, we saw Matoli filly yesterday at Keeneland, last race. Gallop for Steve Asmussen is looking to be a good one. Anyway, this horse was 5th at Delaware in debut behind a 1-2 shot, Mia or Maya. Didn't do much running, was on the 2 path. Dan Ellman pointing out the inside was okay that day, and horse was on the best inside. She was. But I thought she ran a little bit green. This is a second out. Good stat for Richard Silliman. Give her another shot. 8 G's Fireball. Same thing. Beat favorite last time out. The Capitude race at Timonium has been kind of productive. It broke in a little bit, shuffled back. No time to recover. Going a half mile at Timonium. Coming back today, longer distance. G's Fireball from the Rob Barn, No Guts, No Glory farm.
1-8-4-7 for Dave Rodman there in race number 6. That jackpot super high 5 race. Now we go to the late pick 4. 4, which does start in race number 7. This allowance for the girls 3 and up. A mile and 16th on the turf scratch in the 5 Evita, the 8 Gold Digging Broad, 9 6 the Hard Way, 10 Charming Way, and 13 Blonde Samaritan. You have the number 6 on top in Millie Dreams for Grand Motion, Georgie Ruiz. First start over here in the States.
Now, if you bet on Ewens several times, your blood pressure shot up in the last furlong. She's the kind of mare that tries. I mean, she fits in the spot. She gets in a lot of trouble. Let's take a look at the race at Delaware Park, September 7th. Third beaten ahead, but then placed second through disqualification there. Highlighted is Ewens, and the action happens really down a late stretch here. So here comes Ewens in kind of the red sleeves. There we go, circled again. Thanks, Phil. Great job there. Coming through between horses and rocking and rolling, and everything's looking good, right? You got a horse that's kind of trying. Yeah, it can get there. Yeah, it can get there, maybe. And then a little shuffling there, and then gets
just
beat at
denied.
the wire in a 3-order photo.
Just denied there.
Yeah, two back, faced Idacos. Idacos, allowance winner, came back, a very ambitious placing next time out in the All Along Stakes, so they thought enough of that mare to put her in a stake next time out. So maybe today the day for Ewens, but I'm going to go to number 6. First in the States for Grand Motion, Meal Dreams, a French-bred filly. I think I finally, after about 4 hours of searching, found a video of that horse.
Oh, you did?
I did, on the internet, and it wasn't impressive to me, but it looks like she has some talent. I mean, she was grinding it out down the stretch, and horses in front of her looked like they were going to keep on. She was even paced. In the last 16th of a mile, she got interested and kicked in. So first time in the States, been a good move for Grand Motion, and Jorge Ruiz aboard, going to use that horse, Meal Dreams, as a top pick.
You also have Tracy Flick, of course, Shug McGahee, Forrest Boyce, teaming up first time against winners here today. But I think this one will appreciate, while we do have a firm turf course, I think there's still a little bit of cut in it where I think this one will appreciate it.
Now, Dan Illman's analysis kind of turned me on to go back and look at the replay of that race at Monmouth, the 748-day layoff. And I'll tell you what, it was an outstanding race and visually a little better than the 77 Buyer to me. Rated back, steadied into the first turn, settled down inside, taken 3 wide in the second turn, advanced, came out 7 to 8 wide at the top of the stretch, and won by a neck. So she had a little bit of trouble. She took the overland route much of the final turn to the finish in here, and the second back after a long layoff. And can you say, well, she ran a race, she's not going to run it today? When you're dealing with Shug McGahee, Forrest Boyce, can't say that.
You can't leave him off the ticket at all, as Dave Rodman goes 6'2", 3:12 there in race number 7. Race number 8 is a maiden special weight, 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Let's talk about the number 3 in Tirico for Brittany and Sheldon Russell here today.
Yeah, Tirico by Twirling Candy got a special one as a kin sibling to Ageless, who won first start at 7. Ageless is a very, very, very nice horse. This horse has been working out of the gate here at Laurel Park. In fact, equal to a horse named Regalo, who is a bit highly regarded from the Brittany Russell barn as well. I believe this is Brittany's horse. So I think he's ready to go first time out. If he's anything like Ageless, he's going to have speed, or he's going to be close, and he can win first out if it runs in the family. I'm going to go with Tirico on top.
And there we have it. You also go with number 2, Vinco for Arnaud Delacour. Gets Victor Carrasco, of course, as per usual.
First time gelding.
First time, yep,
Here we go with that first time gelding. A $1.5 million purchase. First time gelding now. 6 for 20 after the layoff, and a positive ROI for first time gelding for Arnaud Delacour. So maybe today's the day. Got beat by a Brittany Russell first time starter that time. High value.
Yeah.
Here we go again. Who's the horse immediately to his outside?
Yes.
Another BTR firster.
And there we have it as Dave.
Aquarius. We have a video too.
Of course,
I forgot.
we have to talk about Aquarius Moon. Of course, for Kent Sweezy shipping in. Let's go ahead and take a look at that effort last time out over at Monmouth Park.
All right, here running second in the race, kind of prompted the pace the whole way. Wide trip into the stretch, but had enough heart to duel down to the wire. The winner of the race, Standard of Proof. You might recognize the Silks, the Klarovich Silks. Was a Chad Brown trainee off of one race against Oh, a little horse named Verifying as a 2-year-old, and he was 5-1, the winner of this race against Verifying. So he got beat by a horse that had every right to beat him for sure, and well clear of the other runners in the race going 1 mile and 70 yards. What's going to happen at 6? Well, he's had speed going 6-2. He's a trier. Whether it's sprint or out, is today the day he breaks through and can beat a first-time gelding, another firster from the Damon Dilladovico barn. Horses flash some speed there. Neuschwanstein
Yes.
from the middle of the pack. First time in David Jacobson's barn. Excellent men. Can come up with a lot of angles if you really dig deep in there.
We could talk about that race for a while. Again, we've been having some maiden special weights here that have been having some fun talent here, and race number 8 is no exception. But let's go to race number 9 here in this allowance for the girls 3 and up, going 5.5 on the turf.
You're single.
My single, scratch in the number 12. You do not have my single on top, but you have Reckless Kelly on top. This is a nice price of 10-1 for Mikey Gorham and Daniel Centeno.
Mm-hmm. Good band, Outlaw Country. Reckless Kelly, Michael Gorham barn. I thought her last race, stretching out from the sprint win on the soft course at Delaware after the layoff, was very, very good. They went 22-2, 46 and change, 10-3. She chased, was involved in the pace, and looking at paper, it looks like she just stopped. But when you look at the race, she really, really hung in till just past the 8th pole in that spot. I think she's fit. She faced too much pace in that route race, asking too much. She's a little better sprinter coming back, and Centeno hops aboard. He's familiar with this filly, got the maiden score going 5-ace at Delhi. Don't believe she has to have the lead, as shown in the battle there at Delhi, two back or in the last race. So I'm not going to put it past Candle to just roll over the field late, right? Coming off of
We'll see what
7
happens.
ace and 6 furlong races
Yes.
for sure.
Yep, absolutely. But you also have Miss Sakamoto, Kent Sweezy, Jamie Rodriguez, the other Kent Sweezy ship-in here for today. This one also looks pretty solid.
Jamie Rodriguez had 2 calls in the race, and he goes to Miss Sakamoto over Reckless Kelly.
Yes.
I don't know. But this horse, look at his form, lifetime, 6 thirds, 3 seconds, 12 starts.
Yep.
Kind of tough for me to get over that stat for him, but he's a user in your triples for sure.
Absolutely, as Dave Rodman goes 4-10,
And
8-5.
One more.
Yes.
Keith, you still wanted me to mention Biddy
Yes.
Boss. Biddy Boss put on the bottom of your ticket. He told me that this morning specifically.
Okay.
So Keith involved in the show.
Okay, Keith, there we have it. Keith's little quip in the show. We always need a little Keith quip.
Yeah,
So
okay.
let's hear it for Keith's value play underneath at 20-1 of Biddy Boss for Tim Woolley. William Humphrey, who is also riding high as well. Race number 10, our nightcap of the weekend. Before we get into Maryland Million a week, is a claiming 10,000, a mile and 16th on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Let's go ahead and take a look at your top selection. 3 back at Monmouth Park in I Run for Claudio Gonzalez.
Yeah, a couple of baggers that flatter me. This horse is favored, was on the lead. Let's see, do we have it?
We do.
There we go. You know what?
This one had to touch back, though.
This is, I was thinking of toying with this is it. Start of the race, and then 4 wide early. That's what I wanted to show.
There we
four,
go.
4 deep early that I was thinking of his last race, which I also wanted to show. But I think this is a really good effort. 4 deep into the first turn, ran right up toward a couple of dueling leaders down the back stretch, and then in the stretch again, the bone colors, the black with the gold sleeves down inside highlighted, gives it a good battle to the eventual winner, Flatter Me, pulling clear of the others. Kind of chugging along, but a deep out trip on the first turn. You want to see a trouble trip, take a look at Iron's last race, September 9th at Monmouth, behind Coco Shell, who was a 3-time winner coming into the race.
Yep.
A really, really, really tough trip. After stumbling at the start, got in trouble multiple times. So drawing a line through that race, hoping for a cleaner trip with post 5 going a mile and a 16th. I don't think he's going to be 4 deep in the first turn today.
Well, I mean, we'll find out. I mean, as long as he's not an official magnet for trouble, but as you mentioned, hoping for a better trip for the number 5 I Run. You also go with Long Live Now. This is a nice 10-1 for Carlos Mencia. Angel Cruz gets the call. Carlos Mencia had a good price for us throughout this weekend earlier, and maybe he can give us another one again.
Yeah, this horse comes back on short rest, right? October 1st to October 8th. And Carlos Mencia, General News dazzled him with speed, 22.446, and kept on going and holding on to the late closing in wide practical sense. But coming sprint to route today, I think he's going to be much closer. He's a danger today, and I think he'll show more speed, 2 sprints to a distance of ground for Long Live Now. And matter of fact, I like the 2-5 exacta box in the last race, throwing the Hail Mary if we're not doing well.
Okay, there we have it. I was going to have you dig into the 3, but I like the confidence in the 2 and the 5. Of course, Sir Lump-A-Lot, 8-5 morning line is going to have to overcome a little bit of what happened last time at Pimlico. We're going to need to see that effort from 2 back.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the inside. I didn't think had a lot of excuse, but it ran a big number despite that, right? I mean, the Nest Barn's always going to get a lot of play. I just thought he'd be a short price and maybe trying to worth looking around here. Maybe use him underneath as a saver underneath the 7.
5, 2, 3, 6 for Dave Rodman there.
Underneath the 5, sorry.
Yes, of course. In race number 10, our nightcap here. And let's dive in a little bit into your best bet and value play of the day. Your best bet is going to be Tricchio for the Russell team in general in race number 8.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier the pedigree on this horse. If he has any ability and he runs those bullet works, he should be very fast, and fast from the gate too. Half to a first-time winner named Ageless, who won first out by 7 lengths. All right.
There we have it. And then your value play of the day is going to be at 10-1 in race number 9. Reckless Kelly for Mikey Gorham and Daniel Centeno.
Right. Centeno rode this horse, Delaware, off to the score, going 5 furlongs on the soft going. Battled in good fractions last time out and hung in there a little more than I thought he would, going a distance of ground, coming back to a sprint today, so he's got a good foundation underneath him, and best of all, he's a price, making him the value play.
Value play of the day for Dave Rodman, as we are going to wrap it up for our paddock picks and our Today at the Races show. Of course, that Maryland Million draw is going to be at about 1:45 or 12:45 in between races 1 and 2. Prolonged post time for race number 2 at 1:17. And Dave, you're going to be there calling the draw for the Maryland Million.
Well, we'll go down the stairs, then up the stairs.
There we go. There we have it. And we are going to leave. I'm just going to take a quick break, get offset, and we are going to leave it to Dave Rodman just next to me for the more changes and scratches here for Sunday Today at the Races.
Good luck.